Winterland, tell me all your secrets. Fill me in on your wildest moments. Colored trees, your yellow leaves move me. Dancing roofs, your painted red shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roam. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, you're my sailing ship. Guide me in when you head for your trip, right?
Hey everybody, happy Monday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. So this is the live stream, which we used to do every week, but now it's been, God, I think it's probably been 3 weeks at least since the last one. It may have been a month. I mean, in the meantime, I got COVID. I got, I had a big birthday come up. For the last few weeks, just so much stuff has come out. We had this major heat wave in the UK, so there's lots of reasons why I have not been getting the live stream done. And there's a lot of stuff. Everything's just kind of off schedule because of the summer break and everything like that. But it's good to see you guys. I mean, it's been a while. It's been so long since I've done the live stream that I can't find all the camera equipment. So that's why I'm doing it on the webcam. Like a loser, like I don't have lights and a camera and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, so last few weeks we've done a few videos. I did a couple last week from Ireland. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just sound check, testing 1 2 3. A few things have happened since the last time we talked. Did a few videos last week from Ireland. Went to Ireland, which was pretty good, but it was one of these trips where we're just running around everywhere. Didn't really have much time to see everything. But I kissed the Blarney Stone, so there's that. We have this application that I've been working on for several months, and we finally putting that out there and putting some Facebook ads out for it. However, the Facebook ads don't seem to be getting any impressions, and I'm like, dude, man, you know what it's like when you go back into something and the whole interface has changed? This is something that I find this with Microsoft Azure. Every time, they're always changing things. Facebook's always changing things. Google Play's been, aside from that major update they had, a few years ago, they seem to be pretty consistent with where everything is, but it's just a pain. And anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm glad you guys are here. So let's see who's here. Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Let's see. Liam. Hey, Liam. How are you? AIO. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Let's see. Hi, Eric. Hey, how's it going? The info broker. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Oh, dude, man, I love your profile picture. I need one like that. Let's see. Liam says, it's been a while since I caught one of these. It's been a while since I've done any of them. Sam is here. Hey, how's it going, Sam? After a long time, caught you in live. Yeah, I've not done a live stream. Again, I think it might be 3 weeks ago since I did one. Like every week, Ren on my team, she'll schedule it and do all the social media and stuff for her. She says, are you doing a live stream on Monday? And there was one Monday where I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then something came up. I think it was just still the COVID stuff. And then we had the heat wave. And the heat wave thing sounds like a cop-out, and it kind of is, but it's like I live on this busy intersection, and I have to close the windows and turn off the fan and everything like that. And then all I do is gradually just start just sweat through the whole live stream. So I kind of skip those. So anyway, in terms on the app side, let's see. I've had a few app rejections. I've been working a lot on. Trying to do more user interface testing through one of the applications through Xamarin Forms, which is, it's doing actual user interface testing, automated user interface testing is not as easy as it sounds, because a lot of times it is if you you want to do the login, the password, everything's like, I use my own login, I'll use my own password, it connects to the back end. You're not going to use dependency injection or anything like that. You're just going to use it as if you were using it as a normal user, which can be useful, but it's also kind of wasteful. Or you're going to build something where you actually have the straw man thing here and all this stuff. So anyway, there's that kind of stuff. So let's see. Let's see. Liam says, "What's the new app?" Got a link to it. It's not. So basically, it's more of a SaaS application. So it's a SaaS application, which I'm not sure how well it's going to do yet. So I don't want to talk about it too much because it's not one from the app stores. I mean, it's on the app store, but it's basically just like a B2B application. So we're trying to find some corporate clients for it. And do it that way. So like in the last few years, a lot of the applications that we put out have been for clients. So it'd be the combination of having a admin website where they can go through and configure their application, and they have an application which is actually on the App Store, and that could be for their employees, it could be for their customers, it could be for their clients, everything like that. So we're doing one like that. So it's actually meant, so it's not really one that you can just go down and download without having an invite to it. So otherwise I would advertise it. And so it's still at that early stages. Right now it's like a straw man. I'm trying to see whether or not we can get any clients for it at all. But to be honest with you, I've been dragging my feet a little bit on it, just sort of like cold feet type of stuff. And then I've been busy with other stuff. But once I'm done with that initial bit, I'm going to tell you guys all about it. It's so that you can have a look. I'll tell you whether it worked or it didn't work in terms of that. So let's see. Infobroker says, how have the apps performing on the Google Play Store lately? They've been doing okay. So like my ad mob has been all right. So that really is what I look at lately, is just the ad mob stuff. So but I can show you some of my stats over here. Let's see. Let me go to Google Play Console. So we can share some of this stuff up here, because like it's been such a while. It's been a long time since I've actually released anything new. In fact, I gotta go do all the there's that data privacy stuff that you gotta fill in. I gotta do that for all of my applications, which is a pain in the app. So and I released a bunch of updates a couple months ago, and gradually the ad mob stuff, that whatever the placements of the ads are having issues. But let's see. If I were to look at my order management, which is a lot easier to see here, so I can see that. I'm just trying to see if I can show this to you without this. I don't think the order ID makes that big a difference, but yeah, the payments, like the purchases are pretty infrequent. Maybe a couple purchases a week on that side of things. Let me show you the App Store Connect, because you did ask about Google Play Store, right? The thing about Google Play Store is you can't really find a good consolidated view of all of your applications together. So to give you an idea of what I mean, let me just show my screen over here so you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of my applications is like they come and they kind of drip feed in. So and when I look at AdMob, a lot of my AdMob revenue currently is coming from iOS, even though I don't have a lot of apps over on iOS. Let's see, how do I gotta find my stuff? Here we go. So here's my Google Play console here. I'll move some of this stuff out of the way. So you see, like I have hundreds of pages of apps. Actually, let me just filter this on only the stuff that's still in production. So I still have like 100 applications still in production, and some of these, they don't have, there's a few hundred, things here, whatever. Some of them are really just they have no installed audiences. So it's just one of these things with the neglect. So if I go through, what I'd like to do is see all of them together, because it's one of these things where it used to be I'd have like one solid application that would take all the downloads. And that would be the one that would generate all the revenue. And now it's kind of like all of these ones. And if I were to show you the order management page, actually, let me see if I can show you the order management page and hide the order IDs just so you can see what it looks like. How would I do that? I am going to open up TextPad, which is not called TextPad. What is it called? Sure, I'll run Sublime Text. Why not? Sublime Text is which I still use, and then I'm going to go to Order Management. Watch how slick this is going to be. Order Management page. So and I'm just going to cover up these transaction numbers here, which I don't think is that big a deal, but you know, who knows. So you can see that like I'm still getting like the purchases like on the Google Play side. They're still kind of coming in, you know, drip feeding in, but it's like across the different applications. It's one of these things, something I released, you know, ages ago is still earning revenue, but because I've kind of not been updating it recently, that's, you know, it's not been doing too well. If I show you, let me just stop sharing the screen here real quick, and I will show you my daily revenue, just get a better idea, because it's more so like everything's kind of like I don't have like a big earner at the moment, which is one of the reasons why when you ask that question, it's like I might not even know. But what I've been looking at is the revenue side. So if I look at my daily revenue, hang on, which gets updated on Google Drive. And this is something that, you know, I'm showing you this even though some of my earlier videos I was making a lot more. Like if you seen my videos from like, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, I was making a lot more, but here's my week here. So AdMob is coming in with like, you know, 15, 16, 20 pounds each day. iTunes is, you know, it's drip feeding in, you know, a few pounds here and there. Again, it's just I need to come up with something a bit more concrete than that. And then my Google Play is like, yeah, like I said, once every few days. If I look at July, for example, my total for July was 635 pounds. So it was, you know, it's not a huge amount. For August was 699, or June was 699, 379. So there was one change that I made on AdMob, which was like you know, they keep asking for the different. Let me see, make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, and let me know if this is, you know, this may be boring for you guys, but. Don't tell Ren on my team, but I don't look at this as often. She updates it daily, but so if I were to go back through and look at some of my daily revenues from if I go all the way back to daily revenue reports, here we go. If I go look at I go back to 2017, this is when I want to cry. This is where I can see the, you know, each day I was making thousands each month in 2017, and that was like, you know, one of my big applications was removed, so that's one of the reasons behind that. So, you know, but it used to be in the beginning when I only had a few apps, I would only look at those download numbers because that's the bit that you have some control over, right? The revenue, well, you have control over all of it, but like if no one's downloading it, then you're not actually, you know, no one's actually coming in. So it's the point where after a while you're like, so when people ask me, should I do one application or should I do many? I would say do one or do few because it's easier to keep on top of those stats. When you get like 100, and that's what I have, like when you looked at, if I looked at before I filtered out the unpublished stuff, I mean, it was like, you know, 200 applications, and a lot of them were junk that I just, you know, after a while I was like, I don't even want to maintain this one anymore, and I remove it. But yeah, now it just got to the bit where it was difficult to like consolidate all those download stats. And you used to be able to do it on App Annie, but let's see. So AIO says, oh, thanks for the thumbs up, by the way, for those guys who are enjoying this. And if I really start to sweat, it's because I like you. Let's see. What was it? AIO says, can you please explain the technology used for application development and why? The technologies used? Well, you got, I mean, there's lots of different technologies. This is one of those things that it's a vague question. I know, like, okay, assuming you already know about Android and iOS, assuming you already know that those are things. You create your application using a programming language. You can use a native applications or a native programming language, like on the Android side it would be Kotlin or Java. On the iOS side, it'd be Swift or Objective-C. Yeah, I don't know why you'd go Objective-C these days, but you know, if you're hardcore and you're like, you know, older, maybe you would. But yeah, I don't know if anybody young is actually going to the Objective-C side, or if you're like maintaining an existing application. Like, yeah, I've done that before, where I have to go through. I've got this a client comes in and they've got an Objective-C application, and I need to look into it. It's like, you know, you're thinking, I have rewritten. I've rewritten an Objective-C application for free. Just like didn't even like, I was just like, dude, this is like, everything is painful, and it was just like spending a weekend just doing it for a client. Because you know, when I said how much it would cost, they were like, "Ooh, I don't know." But like, even the simplest things were hard. So then you also got the cross-platform stuff. So you got your Flutter, you got Xamarin, you got React Native, you got lots of different things. You also got your hybrids, which are more HTML based. You got the Ionic, you've got I'm blanking, the Cordova based stuff. I mean, it used to be Titanium, used to be one. I don't know if that's still a big deal. And then you also got your game framework. So if you're going to do game development, that's, you know, it's something entirely different. You got Unity, which is in C#. You've got Cocos 2DX, which is in I think C++, which I've never used. I did a lot of stuff in Corona, which is now Solar 2D, which is done in Lua. But you know, that's some legacy code where I'm like, you know, every so often I think I need to rewrite this stuff. So there's lots of stuff that you could do, and then you got the server-based stuff. So you know, an application, you know, these days having an application that's just a standalone application is pretty rare. But most of my applications, especially at the beginning, were just standalone applications, right? Just they're installed on your phone. I didn't have any server costs or anything like that. Rihad says, check my Google app, please. Okay. App name. Oh, awesome. Okay, fair enough. That's really cool, though. Cool. Let's see. App name, All Mobile Secret Codes 2022. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm assuming you mean Google Play, right? I'm gonna see. We'll have a look at it. And then everybody, you're putting yourself up to criticism from everybody. What is Google Play down here? All right. All Mobile Secret Codes 2022. All right, I'm sharing my screen. So here we go. All Mobile Secret Codes 2022 apps and games. All right, so we've got. Let's see. Rihad. So already I can see we have 3 different applications here. So you have to tell me which one it is. Because, dev name, BB Droid Apps. Here we go. All right. So, already, you know, let's see. Mobile Codes 2022. Secret Codes all mobile Androids 2022 free include the Android secret code of all mobile brands. I have no idea what that means. Check all Android codes include network, WLAN, firmware, version, information, factory test, PDA. RVB. Secret codes all mobile Android. Hang on. Okay, let's look at the screenshots. Secret codes for all mobile. I don't know what that means. Codes for 20 mobile brands. Okay. Custom reset. This sounds like this is mobile secret codes. Easy to share and copy. So my big thing to say to begin with, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, is like the one question that you need to answer when you're looking at this is, what does it do? How will people find it? What will they be looking for? So it's, I mean, is this something, are you filling a need, or is this something that it's kind of cool, so you did it, but you're not sure how to get this in front of people? What do the rest of you guys think? I don't want to just be like critical of everything all the time, because it's really easy. It's really easy to be critical. I was asked, like, back in the beginning when I started doing this channel, somebody said, why don't you like do an app teardown? Like, you look at popular apps and say why they're doing well. And I'm like, Well, because that's like reverse engineer, like that's looking at something and the survivor bias. It's like saying like, oh, well, the reason they're doing well is because they do this right and they do this right and they do this right. But, just because they did that right doesn't mean it's the success. Like, that's like, it's looking at something like in retrospect and then like, so that's kind of weird. What did I just do? Anyway, go back to main screen. So let's see. Chris Bala is here. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Finally get to join Overpass Live. Good to see you again. Good to see you too. You haven't done one in a long time. I've just been, it's been so busy. It's been so busy and so hot. Been busy and hot. And I had COVID and I turned 50. And I think, I think I might grow a mustache. I've been thinking about it. I think I might grow a mustache. Let's see. But thanks, Chris. I'm glad you're here. Good luck with it. About the application. I'll definitely fill you guys in on it. I mean, at some point. But let's see. My new phone says mobile secret codes. Reha, this is the same one, right? Their name be Droid apps. Okay. And then I like your videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Many people don't show their income, but you are not one of them. Well, it's not that impressive. That's the thing. It's the, back when it was, it's just get back in there. I think it's the putting something out. Like, it used to be prolific. I used to be prolific till I got slapped around by Apple for having too many applications and container app, and then it was just like it kind of killed my mojo a little bit, to be totally honest with you. But so that's why the last application I released like about a month ago, 2 months ago, Apple rejected it. They said no, 4.3 spam guidelines. I'm like, dude, this is nothing like any of the other apps. This is nothing like, this is completely different. And they were like, okay, and they let it through. But it was just like, so I keep thinking I might have to just like start a new account. This is one of those things. I did a video last week where I talked about turning 50, and I was like, started thinking maybe this is a time for new stuff. Maybe like change the name Overpass to something else. I've been writing. It's back when I started the company, it was like, that was a cool name. I like the name, but then other companies have that name and all. It's just kind of everywhere now. But then I'm like, that's what you do. That's what you do when you get bored. You rearrange the furniture, you change your logo, you think you're making progress, and really all you're doing is procrastinating. Let's see. AIO says, what programming language does your company actually use, and why do you choose those languages only? So I used to use like mostly Ionic and then native. I used to use Java and Swift. Swift, if I did native, it was Java or Swift. Kotlin I never really got into, and just because Java was something I had experience with. And then I got into doing a lot of Lua development with Corona SDK. Right. And when I started hiring developers, then it was like, okay, I want to start. We started doing Unity stuff, but it was something I didn't really like the Unity interface. So like a lot of the times you can start these projects, it might be other developers working on it, but eventually it ends up in my lap. It might be something where they finish it and then there's just some tweaks to do, and it's just like the feedback loop is too long. You're like stuck between the developer and the client. The client goes, can we just move this over here? And I go, can we just move this over there? And they go, okay, how about now? How about now? How about now? And it got really slow. So it was like, then I get involved in it. And sometimes the developer lets me down. Sometimes, they're just, whatever, they misquoted it, that happens. Sometimes scope creep just gets to the point where it's just out of hand, and like somebody's got to finish something. So it's like, you just screw it, just give it to me and I do it. So when it came to like, so a lot of times when I talk about the technology I use, it's stuff that I'm comfortable using. I use Ionic a lot. Then it was Flutter, because I really like using Flutter. It was Corona. Now it's either Flutter or it's Xamarin, and it's kind of the two things. And I keep thinking I need to drop one and just like focus on the other one. The reason I go with Xamarin is because I have a client that they're pretty much a Microsoft shop, and I was let's just do the Xamarin route. But there's a lot of things that I do like about it, a lot of things I don't like about it. I think like data binding is really good. If I do something which is like a business-based application, and I'm using Flutter. Flutter doesn't really have that good data binding, where I just want to load an object, bind to it. When they submit it, it just submits it. Whereas Xamarin and all the C# stuff really does that, the XAML-based stuff. Whereas in Flutter, you have to set up like that text editing controller and everything like that. And it just, it got a bit out of hand. So that's it. When it comes to the back end stuff, a lot of times a client might, they might already have an existing infrastructure, or they might have, like I said, if they're a Microsoft shop, then, I don't want to build something in some language that they can't take over and take over with later. So we might use, something, Azure based or whatever. But if it's my own choice, I will use it was the mean stack, like, MongoDB and all that stuff. It's Mongo Express, Apache, Node. But now it's just Firebase. It's just easy to get something up on Firebase. So like the last few projects have just been Firebase based. And the downside of that is not, but I don't like. So the upside to Firebase is it's really flexible. We got one application which just has it's ridiculous amount of data that goes in there. It makes me nervous how much data we have going into that. But it's it's handling it really, really well. But it's also getting I can't just query it. Like I have to write code to query it and everything, like a NoSQL type database. Whereas like if it was good old SQL Server or MySQL database, I can just query it however I want. But Manoj, hey, how's it going? Let's see. Prithi, how's it going? Hey, Eric, it's been a long time since I caught one of your live streams. Hope all is well. It's going good. It is going good. You know what? This feels good doing it again. It really does. I think I didn't realize how much I needed this. I missed you guys. Hope all is well. I just started working on my new app with Flutter. How was your experience been with Flutter? I really like working with it, but a lot of the times, let's see, when you get that red, when you get the red screen, all that whatever, and then you have to get to a point where you're everything's kind of back in the old days when I was whatever, even in Visual Basic, you get to a point where you're just you're just coding away, and you realize, ooh, that's a lot of spaghetti code. And it's easy to get that way in Flutter too, when you get all those nested objects, and that's where you start realizing, okay, I got to separate this out into different reusable components, everything like that. And that's something that I it's just something to look out for. I like the tight to be able to use something like Firebase and have it just dynamically update, and you're not thinking about putting putting a stream object and just being able to listen to the stream object for changes on the Firebase Firestore database and all this kind of stuff. So I really like it. I think I like the there's certain things like when we're talking about the Xamarin side and using XAML that I feel a bit constrained with different shapes and stuff like that. And I think in Flutter there's a lot of that just works well. Some of the downsides I have is just setting something up where if you're doing this is more to do with the Firestore integration, where is if you put everything into your pod file on the iOS side, I don't know if you guys experience this where it's really slow to start up, and I know there's fixes and stuff you can put in for that, but I can never remember what they are. Every time I start a new project, it's the compile time is once you get it running, you're fine because you got that hot reload, and that's the hot reload is probably my favorite part of it. I like it. Let's see. App name, test knowledge, dev name, BB Droid apps. Well, we could look at that, but GK, is it GK, general knowledge, test knowledge? Well, let's have a look at it. But I mean, okay. So everyone, let them know what you think, because I don't want to be the bad guy all the time. Let's see. Not the same bad guy, but so here we go. Oh, what did I do here? I somehow made my desktop really. There we go. Right. Don't pay any attention to what you see here. So, GK test knowledge. Again, an application that you have to think about how people are going to find it. I don't know what your download numbers are. I don't know what your downloads are like, but basically general knowledge quiz, different categories, multiple languages. Yeah, see, this is like, this kind of stuff is, we had an application where we did this where you could change the language. It's like, it should be driven off of the the system settings. And then you got that stuff in there, and then you got the country quiz. Okay, so GK quiz, general, yeah, GK quiz about, and best experience. That's, I mean, again, the captions, they need work. And so yeah, it's a general knowledge testing up. Oh, here we go, 100+ downloads. So I mean, it's getting people in to find it is going to be really difficult. Like, so just so we do this, if I typed in general knowledge quiz. Knowledge, if I knew how to spell it, general knowledge quiz. I mean, there's so much here. So you know, the BB Droid app stuff is, I mean, it looks like, I mean, it's good that you're getting the App Store experience, but try to think, you know, like what, like, how are people going to find it? What do they actually do with it? So let's see. Infobroker says, in your experience, your Apple updates on Google Play Store, do you think I should make minor changes or some major updates with new screenshots and descriptions, etc.? I think the screenshots, like, I think there should be two approaches for that. So the screenshots and the description, that should be like for ASO and stuff like that. So you think so. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to change the APK. It's good to change the APK regularly. Like, just from the, like, first of all, Google Play knows that you're updating it regularly. It's not some old application that's been there forever. You know, if you were going to download the application and you see that it's still maintained, you know, like if you saw two applications, one of them was last released in 2018 and the other one was released a week ago, you know, which one are you going to be a bit more interested in? I mean, if they both had the same amount of downloads and reviews and everything like that too. If it was a brand new one, you might be thinking, you know, so yeah, that would just be one of the things you think about. When it comes to like the screenshots and the description, you got to think about what are those keywords and stuff you want people searching for. Like, if somebody's searching for the application, how are they going to find it? How's Google going to know what it actually is? And we talk about, you know, I've talked about this before. We talk about the ABCs. You got A, people need to find it, so they need to know it exists. That could be through advertising, that could be through search optimization, that could be through whatever. So like the description and the title, that helps with that first part. You know, just putting something in there where people can find it. If you get people to leave reviews, that's really good too, because it's going to rank better for that. But just so that it knows. Yeah, part two is, or B, A, B, C. B is getting them to download it. So like, if they're actually hitting that Google Store Play page, that Google Play Store page, then if they're actually hitting that page, then, and they're not actually downloading it, then you need to start looking at the screenshots and the description as well there too, because that's when they're looking at it going, you know, so like, that's when they're looking at it thinking, oh yeah, either download it or not download it, right? And then the third part is, if they download it, then are they making any purchases? Are they staying in the application? And that's when the APK actually makes a difference. So it's thinking about you know, which problem are you trying to solve? And but I think doing regular updates is a good thing. So definitely a good thing. Sincerely Playful says, hey Eric, I watched a recent video about turning 50 where you spoke about slowing down / retirement. I did not talk about retirement, but yeah, I did talk about slowing down. I talked about doing something new. I wanted to ask, is there a certain project goal which you could reach before you call it quits? I'm not going to call it quits. No, this is one of those things where, but the video I talked about was like, there was this book called Middle Essence. I have a friend who told me about it. And it's, you know, it's like you don't feel old. Like, I don't feel old. I don't feel like slowing down. I don't feel like, you know, any of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I feel good. And, you know, so, you know, so it's what do I want to do with the next bit? Like I could either go, all right, so I'm 50 now, everything's going to stay the same, or I could say, what if I did something different? Like, what if I did something different on the YouTube channel? What if I, learned a new skill that I've never tried before? I've always been afraid to try. Or what if I did something a bit more on the creative side? Or what if I just did something totally different, right? Because, I don't plan on retiring or slowing down. The point I was making in the video was, when you're in your 20s, 50 sounds old, like, oh man, you're like nearly retirement. But then when you get to 50, you're like, dude, this is there's like so much more to do. I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 25. It's it's weird. It's like I have more energy now than I did back then. I've got more more enthusiasm for what I do. I wake up, I'm happy. There's like lots of things about now, and I'm thinking, I want to think about this turning, this milestone hitting as being not so much a, just a birthday that, that came and went, but like, almost like a New Year's resolution. Like, how do I want that next stage to be? So that was what it was. So now I'm not talking about calling it quits. I thought about doing something other than apps. And then I thought about it afterwards. I thought, I like doing this. I like, getting something up and working. And it's like, I don't feel like it's a slog or a drag or anything like that. So, but yes, God, not retirement. But I couldn't afford retirement anyway. You saw my revenue just then. Hypothetical question: if one of your subscriber may be like, hypothetical question: if one of your subscriber may be, I like to start IT company in your country. How would you help out, Eric? Oh, so let's see if one of the subscribers, not app subscribers, one of you guys wanted to start an app company in the UK, how would I help out? I would provide advice. I mean, it's probably, what I would do. I think there's plenty of work out there. There's plenty of work out there all over the place. You just, there's so many people that when they do contact me, they're frustrated because they can't find a good developer. And I said, there's good developers out there. They're just not making themselves look like good developers. And I think it's probably the one bit of advice that I would give is like, how do you brand yourself as being the helpful person rather than the guy who knows C++ or whatever. Yoham, hey everyone, hey Yoham, how's it going? Let's see. Please share the monthly search of computer shortcut keys. I don't know what that means. Share the monthly search of computer shortcut keys. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Rodrigo's here. Hey man, how's it going? Dude, so I haven't updated my APK in forever. I know, it's just, I have an automated thing, and like a couple of months ago, I did like a bunch of my applications, but I'd written all like this Node.js process using Fastlane, which would just like go through and just upload a bunch of them at the same time. But yeah, it's been a while for me too. My new phone says, I've made an app, a computer shortcut keys app. Please give me 30 characters title for this app, please. It has to be what, like, okay, so I don't, like, this is like, the research you're going to have to do is think, who's going to be looking for a computer shortcut keys application as opposed to a website? Like, if it's something that's information-based, you have to think, what's the benefit of it actually being an application and not being a website? Because you could just Google it and find out what the computer shortcuts for the computer that you're on. But if somebody was, like, if it was a benefit, who would be looking for it and why? Like, if it would be something like, if it was a technical support person, for example, would it be like someone who use lots of different types of computers and they keep forgetting what the shortcuts are? Then they might need that, that quick reference guide or something like that. And then that would be kind of the way to go about doing it. So yeah. And Rodrigo says, long time no see. Been busy with other projects. I know. I need to chase the project you've been working on too, Rodrigo. Let's see. Please share a monthly search number of computer shortcut keys keyword. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have. I don't have. You'd have to look. You'd have to look that up. You can use like Sensor Tower. Use other stuff. Probably the best way to do it. And if you go onto the App Store Connect and use the search functionality, you could use that. Also look at keyword search tools and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff, you got stuff like Sensor Tower, which they don't really know what those search volumes are, but they make educated guesses as to what those kind of stuff are. Let's see. Ilyasbek. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? I hope I said it right. Do you prefer Flutter or React Native for cross-platform mobile app? I prefer Flutter. I mean, React Native is, this is one of the things. There's a guy at my boxing gym that I met, and he's he's a React Native developer, which is, it's kind of cool because I would talk to him about it because, a lot of really cool stuff has been done in React Native, but I've also seen some bad projects done in React Native, and that's the same with every single language out there, right? I remember being a VB developer, and everyone, I know you talk to people who never used it before, but they'd seen some of it. They're like, no, VB, Visual Basic is just spaghetti code or whatever. But if you work with talented developers who use basically they have their own coding standards, they have their own way of working stuff. They did like really professional jobs, and it's kind of that exposure you have to it. So my exposure to React Native has been kind of like every time I tried to build something, I had some issue with using the wrong node version or I had the wrong NVM installed or whatever. So, but you get the same stuff with Flutter, really. So my preference is Flutter. But I mean, what do you prefer? The info broker says between clients work and making your own apps, which do you enjoy more and which has better growth in the long-term revenue and hours work put in? In terms of the long-term revenue, it's probably so in both cases, doing your own apps is more enjoyable because you're in charge of all the decisions, right? It's a little bit intimidating because you take all the risks. So like you're doing something and you're thinking, is this even worth my time? Like, is this even worth doing? But that's the same with any creative thing, right? When you're doing so, and in terms of long term, if you get it to work, I mean, there's something nice about having applications out there that people are downloading and they're asking you questions about. They're saying, use your app, but how does this work? How does that work? How does that? And the only reason it exists is because I had an idea about it. Like, that's something that's really, really cool and very, very satisfying. Even if it doesn't make a lot of money, it's still something that it was a germ of an idea that I had in my head. I created it, I put it out there, but then you got to think, how do you get people to find it? And in some ways you admire the big companies because they could hire somebody to go out there and say how awesome it is, but you as a developer who worked at it, all you could think about is that one little bit that doesn't work so well. And then of course in the long term, you earn the revenue from that however long it goes. And when I showed my daily revenue earlier, it's not a lot of money coming in, but it's work that I did years ago and it's still just trickling in. So, it's I should do more of that kind of stuff. Now, client work, on the other hand, pays the bills. Like, that's I need $2,000 by next month. I need $2,000 to pay this bill by next month. And that kind of stuff is, that stuff is important. So, let's see. We got a super chat. I've been ages had a super chat. Thanks, AIO. I appreciate that. Let's see. AIO says, in my place, I was able to get a tea and samosa. With that, I don't have idea whether we'll get it or not. Okay. But what will it cost for you to buy a cup of coffee there? It's about £4, I think. But I appreciate it. I really do. That's really nice of you. So, yeah. No, I think it's going back to this question, just info broker. It's like I kind of feel like me showing my daily revenue, which is trailed off, which is entirely the laziness of my part. Like, it's one of these things where When I first started doing apps, and I was, one of the people I was working with, I was still contracting, so I was still working in the daytime, and they were saying, you should sell a course on how to do apps, or no, you should write a book on how to make millions in apps. And my thing was, I haven't made millions in apps. And they said, no, but you gotta sell the dream, right? And this is one of the things that it bothered me so much, because you see it all the time. The people who they sell the dream, like, all you need to do is buy my course. All you need to do this. And then sometimes I do think maybe I'll do a course, but the thing that puts me off it is that, it's the, selling dream, because there are people out there who are still doing well on this. It's still live and kicking. And then when I show my revenue, people say, yeah, App Store doesn't work anymore. So I haven't updated in a long time. So, there's still, stuff out there that's still working. And when I say that, the App Store still works, and, if you could do your own applications, it's definitely worth it, I have nothing to gain by telling you that, except I know that you're going to really, really like it. I know that you're going to, you're going to be like, if you were to email me in a couple of years saying, hey, I did my first app because, and I've had this a few times, which is awesome. It's so cool when you get an app, a message was saying like, I was watching one of your videos, and, I thought, I'm going to do an app too. And I'm so glad I did, because blah, 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 blah. And they're telling me all this kind of stuff, and this new life course that they took, and it was like way more successful than mine. And I'm like, that makes me feel awesome, because it's, it's just, and we all stick together, and we all, help answer each other's questions. I can't get my Discord to work, because I haven't been on Discord for a while. But there's still lots of people in there in the channel. So you have issues, you want to talk about revenue, you want to talk about your stats, all that kind of stuff. That's still on there. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks everyone for the thumbs ups and everything like that. I hope you guys have so that's it. I think I'm going to call it. I'm calling it. That was the last question. Last one I see, and sometimes there's a little bit of delay. Like, as soon as I end the live stream, the next question comes through. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. I'm going to do this more often. Screw it. You know what? I started to trail back a little bit on the live streams, but let's do this more often. It'll encourage me to get off my ass and do some more stuff in terms of the app world and stuff like that. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys again next time.